I am George Paul, Willie L, Chris Rightful, they the DJ. We all did it at the Roundtable Podcast.
Welcome to Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast with DJ John Tavar, Nelly Nell, Chris Ryder, and Bodega the DJ on the ones and twos. Your source to knowledge. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Dinner at the Roundtable.
GG, I am DJ John Tavar, Nelly Nell, Chris Ryder, Bodega the DJ on the one and twos. But we have a special guest DJ. Nelly, do the introduction, please.
You already know, man. We got and producer DJ the other day, my personal favorite EDM DJ in the world. How you doing, man? Welcome to Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast, man. Live and direct from the DJ's lair.
What's going on?
Yes, sir.
Nelly Nels, man. Yo, good looking for having me on, man. It's been
I love the background, brother. I love the background right there. What you got going over there?
I got my main setup playing some other shit, and then I got my little laptop, and ready to bless you.
Dope. That's dope. That's dope, man. I love the setting right there, brother. I love the setting right there, man.
Bro, you need to come through and bless the ones and twos over here, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Jay, that's a challenge.
Yeah,
that's a challenge,
bro.
So the other day, he has a this Saturday show that he does live called Fader Radio. If you guys want to tune in, our listeners want to tune in, check them out every Saturday at 9 p.m., right?
9 p.m. every Saturday, Eastern time.
Yeah.
Come check me out. It's straight house music, all genres of EDM. We blazing that every Saturday.
That's what's up, man. It's just EDM music, that's right? EDM?
Yeah. No, I DJ everything, like, when it comes to, like, going out, like, DJing at a club or whatever, but our main focus is house music. So last week I did a trance set.
Oh, gotcha.
So
So
it was really dope. Yeah.
All right. That's what's up, though.
Man. It's nice.
That's what's up, man.
But you guys should tune in to Fader Radio. That should be popping and be live. He be having that shit looking like a discotheque. With mad vapor coming out and lights everywhere.
Yo, what was that movie with Mark Wahlberg? What was it, Club 54 or something like that? I forgot about it.
Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights. You ain't akin to me, Frank. I know karate. I'll beat you up.
For that movie.
You remember that shit?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy,
that movie was great, man. And that movie was actually based on like true events, like not 100% because obviously Hollywood puts their own twist, but
it
was basically about the beginning of the porn industry. Basically, that's basically what it was about, and the major players in it, So yeah, man. And his name, I think, his name was Dirt Diggler and shit. That was a great name, by the way. It's a great porn name.
That's a great porn name.
Yeah, man. I can't hear, man.
That movie. That movie.
You guys got me rolling right now. Yeah.
That movie was like a drama and comedy all mixed in on one because there was like a whole bunch of different things going on, different stories going on. Don Cheadle was there too. Don Cheadle did a good job in it. Juliana Moore,
actor though. Cheadle.
Juliana Moore was there too. She's a great actress. She was like the main porn lady and stuff. And then I forgot this guy's name.
Porn lady.
This guy's name, right? Something
main
Reynolds.
Porn lady, Nelson.
What's his
main
first
porn
name?
Lady.
Reynolds he has a first name. What's his first name? The older actor. His last name is Reynolds. Not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is the Canadian dude, the funny guy.
I know.
Van Wilder, but he was the.
I know he's about the mustache.
Yeah, he was the head guy. Let me see here. I'll tell you right now. Reynolds. Here we go. We got Ryan Reynolds and he's the most popular Reynolds, but there's other Reynolds too. But
it's a whole bunch of them, right?
As a matter of fact, we could pull that shit up right now, actually, while we're talking. But anyway, the main topic of the day is Black Lives Matter. It's a very important organization. It's been around for a couple of years, and during these
almost
current
10
times.
years.
during these current times right now, it's played a big role in the social injustice and police brutality issues that are going on in the last couple of months that we all been talking about in the last couple of episodes, and also what the world has been talking about, right? So basically, the Black Lives Matter movement is definitely a good organization because it's out there to protect, the culture and protect people of color.
And it's a lot of things that are changing now, through a lot of what happened with George Floyd, the protests. New York State passed a law repealing the 50A law. So basically means that all cops' disciplinary records are made public, except for their personal information. Governor Cuomo, I applaud him because he basically told all 500 police departments that they have to systematically eradicate racism and racial profiling out of the departments, or they're getting no state funding.
Yeah.
And it's a step in the right direction.
On top of that too, guys. I'm just gonna share something with you guys real quick. Because the NYPD logo has an emblem, right? It's an emblem, and it has two figures on it. One a Native American person, and then the other one is it looks like a slave owner with a whip on it. So they're taking that away too. I don't know if you guys noticed that was like a big thing in social media.
And they also disbanded plainclothes cops.
Yeah.
No more
I actually read an
plainclothes.
article on that today.
Yeah.
So
that they disbanded that, and it's actually what New York State right now is doing is it's leading the charge. It's definitely leading the charge, and it's been changing. Things are finally going for the better,
Yes. So we're gonna pull this up real quick. The NYPD logo. Let's see what's going on here, and you guys can continue talking there.
Yeah. No, but what I want to just chime in is basically, it's a good start. You know, what I mean, it's definitely it's a great start. What I was reading about the NYPD though, again though, I mean, they have been through so much lawsuits. It's ridiculous. I mean, it was over the $700 million. I mean, Nelly Nell actually touched upon it a few episodes ago, but it's just ridiculous how much taxpayers' dollars are being used to pay off these lawsuits. Mind-boggling, bro. It's crazy. There's no occupation in the world that gives up so much money off of lawsuits than the police department, and that's just the harsh reality of what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And the funny thing is that we, the citizens, are the ones that actually
taxpayers
pay that because we pay their salary, and on top of that, we pay for the loss, like the settlements outside of court. We're the ones that pay for it because
right now
when we get it increased fares by the MTA, when we get our property taxes going up, when we get everything in general going up in the city, the cost of living, where's that coming from? That's coming from those mishaps that the cops are having.
Man, that's almost $250 million, man. Like, if you really think about it, that's almost $250 million per year. That is just, man. I'm just like, I'm
and it's
bro.
crazy, and it's crazy because there's been a lot of blowback right now. A lot of the police unions are upset because they feel like they're not able to do their jobs. But why are you so upset? Is because a lot of the shit that's been going on is going to start becoming public record. And, what's in the dark is coming to light. And if you got skeletons in your closet, you're going to be exposed for it. And, to me, it's like, instead of being so upset about these things, why don't you be upset about the thousands of cops that every year have lawsuits? They are caught on camera being brutal. Why don't you do the blowback? Why don't you start holding these cops accountable? Because I understand you got the code of silence, the code of blue. Once you become an NYPD cop, your race no longer matters, as Nelly Nell said. And they're gonna defend each other to the end. But still, the way that a lot of this stuff changes is cops start holding other cops accountable. And this is a start. And also one of the things too that's in the new law that it was, and it's actually in effect right now because Cuomo he signed it as an executive order, is every police brutality is going to be handled through the state now. So it's given to the attorney generals, and they're the ones who are going to handle those cases. So it's no longer, anything else. It's actually going to be handled through the state. So,
and it's crazy as you say that. I'm thinking about how it took the riots in L.A., the Rodney King, to actually implement a law where you have to actually now document each police brutality, where it has to be documented, because before 1992, it wasn't no law that you had to document any brutality, any killing that was done by the police. So that's just crazy though. Like, I mean, it took that to happen to actually make that into a law, and it's like,
but
wow.
if you don't speak up, things are gonna continue to happen. It's like, if I continue to smack you in your face and you say nothing about it, I'm gonna continue to smack you in your face. But if I smack you in the face and you smack me right back, you're gonna get mad, right? Because I'm smacking you in the face.
Well,
it's that same
black
concept.
Black people got smacked in the face for over 400 years, bro. That's just crazy.
So
for 400 years, they've been getting smacked in the face. And
I saw some, and I've been saying this since day one on this podcast, that I saw a meme the other day about this little girl who was the first black girl that went to an all elementary school, and their teachers refused to teach her, students refused to learn with her, all but one teacher, and she was basically in a classroom by herself. That woman is 65 years old, still alive. And 65 is not, old and you can't function. 65,
like retirement age, according to the United States.
Yeah.
65 people are still moving. They still, they're 65-year-olds that are in better health than people in their 30s. Think about that. And that's why people feel like, you can't erase 400 years of a system in 50 years. You can't. It's going to take a long time to root that out.
All right,
and
guys.
Now that's why I say that this movement that's been happening in the last month or so has been the most significant movement since the civil rights, because people are starting to really recognize and look upon themselves and learn about what's going on. And you can thank Trump for that in a way. You know why I say that? Because beforehand, racism was always there was always in the closed doors. It was behind the scenes. Trump came, people started being more bold about it. They started, being out there and showing their ass.
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
if you think about it, hold on, I just want to say one quick thing, then you can go, my brother. If you think about it, maybe Trump did that on purpose. Maybe he knew.
A lot of people claim that Trump. A lot of people claim that Trump is like the exposure president. That the same way that he's boastful, he's been doing like a lot of stuff behind the scenes to bring out like
a lot of the shit,
a lot of like all of these secret societies things that before he comes out of office, he's gonna bring all that to light. He's gonna expose everybody,
and that's
all these pedophile rings that exist, and
he's been doing that. That's why people why do you think Trump has been attacked so much in the media, and they're actually not giving him the full story, because they're just showing snippets. They're just showing you the stuff that get people angry. Why are they doing that? My brother told me that he appointed FBI to really head this investigation, and that's how the George Floyd cops got arrested, because he's put the pressure on them. So, I think, to me, people don't do their research. They just see what the media says, and then they automatically jump on this man's neck. But I don't think he's as ignorant as people portray him to be. I think there's an agenda that he has, and you never know.
All right, great.
Because why are so many of these things coming to light during this man's presidency?
Yeah, it's a lot of questions got to raise.
A lot of questions, but real quick, before the DJ the other day jumps in, let me show this logo real quick. Let me know if you guys can see it. The NYPD logo, is it coming up there on your screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, it is.
So you see how right here, you see my little hand here, the little mouse hand.
Mm-hmm.
See right there, this is a perfect example of like the racism within the police department of New York City. This little emblem right here has a slave master with a whip on it, basically having the cops keep us in check. That's basically what it means. This is an Indian and actually like somebody with a whip in their hand.
Wow,
that's crazy, right?
Unbelievable. I really didn't really pay close attention to the logo, but I mean, as you say right now, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, shit. It actually was an actual logo for the NYPD to represent the department.
It's been there for a long time, brother.
But if you think about it, racism is embedded in all of American society, even down to even talking back down to the police. Like the police were originally started to capture slaves.
Yep.
And that's a sad thing. Like, I personally don't know how a race of people or a society could hate its own people. Because, all right, cool. America was rediscovered by white Europeans. They basically made a genocide of all, Native Americans, and then you enslaved the Africans. So it's like, after a couple of 100 years, how could you hate any of those people anymore? You know what I mean? Like, you've interacted with them for hundreds of years, but you still hate them because of the color of their skin? Or is it the fact that there's something else there? You know what I mean?
No, I agree, though. I mean, honestly, everything is a learned behavior, though. I mean, these guys were just pulling your 2 cents and then. I mean, honestly, everything has evolved, but the human consciousness. Technology has evolved, the way we live has evolved, but our consciousness, the way we think, has not really evolved as a whole. And that's the unfortunate thing. You know what I'm saying? If you really pay close attention, we really haven't evolved as a species yet in a way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's so unfortunate, but it just shows you how, how the human brain works, though, and how it can be easily manipulated, when you able to really program people into thinking one certain way. Because to even judge someone, have a prejudgment based on their pigment, and just kind of have that judgment already. It just shows you how limited we still are as a species. But yeah, we're supposed to be the most advanced species on this earth. But honestly, we're really not. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we still go off by, of certain things that we've been taught to, and not really think outside of it. And it's very unfortunate, though. But yeah, go ahead.
No, keep going. The way I see it is like, okay, cool. We're advancing in technology. We're advancing in education, medicine, all these fields. But yet we haven't been able to come together as a whole planet, as a society, and just say, you know what? Fuck religion, fuck skin color, fuck all this shit. We need to unify because there's something larger than us.
Absolutely.
But and piggybacking off what you said,
it's not like we have a lot of time on this planet either, because of the fact that we're killing this shit off
quick.
We're killing this shit off rapidly. Like, no lie, this pandemic was probably the best thing that happened on the earth because so much pollution was taken away from it. Like,
my God, was it?
I was walking from Dykeman to 225th when I crossed the 225th bridge, and I saw the water turning blue, and that shit's always been green. Always.
But it's a crazy quirk.
That water's never been blue. When I saw that shade of blue, I was like, "Oh, this is real."
That's actually something.
Fishes, right? You actually saw some fishes in the water now. Like,
that's not actually pollution, though. That's just the way that the hemisphere is.
Oh man,
the way the planet is.
But it is a lot of garbage thrown in the water, though.
Talking about. Yeah, but of it is a lot cleaner than what it was 20 years ago. We've definitely gotten a lot cleaner in that aspect. But, talking about technology, it's definitely exposed what's been going on in the world forever. And it's there now right in your face. It's, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
You're seeing it right there. That's always been there. It's never changed. Yeah. But you're just seeing it now. And it's starting to wake people up, 2020 is something that it's the year of the awakening, because a lot of people are being more awakened. A lot of these corporations are starting to understand the dynamic of everything. When you got Michael Jordan donating $100 million and speaking about shit, that means shit's real, bro.
Yeah.
Because he don't speak he usually keep his face out of everything, which I understand his point of view. You know, he wants to just play basketball and do business. You know, and he was never really a person that was an advocate or a voice, even though he was who he was. But this forced him to say something, and this pandemic, it was the perfect storm for everything. The perfect storm.
Perfect storm. Yo, just to give a little bit of insight on the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm gonna share this with you guys real quick, and with our audience real quick, and let me know if you guys can see this article here. So you see that the blacklivesmatter.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Black Lives Matter, the hashtag was actually founded in 2013, and the organization was already in the works. But basically, it was in 2013 in response to the acquittal of the Trayvon Martin murderer. Black Lives Matter Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the United States, UK, and Canada, whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. By combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. So that's basically what they're about. Which it's very clear by the name of the organization that they're about Black Lives Matter. But that was just to give a little bit of a background as how that organization started.
Let's give a personal take about what you guys think about the movement. I mean, just your own personal view. You know what I'm saying? As far as like how it founded and where is that now?
When the Black Lives Matter first kicked off, I was very, very much a point of all lives matter, black on black is wrong, and all this other shit. And then there's only been, the last year or so where I started to understand the true meaning about it. And in order for all lives to matter,
okay, Chris, you're frozen.
Yes. Oh, you froze? Oh, shit.
And it's not just
come on, he looked like he's taking a shit.
Froze me?
Yeah, he was frozen.
Oh, me?
Yeah, he froze over there.
You look like you was constipated and shit.
Like I said,
you had too much. You had too much meat this week at your job, Mr. Butcher. The other day, if you don't know Chris Ryder's profession, he's a butcher, so he eats a lot of meat. So that's the reason why he came out constipated on the video.
Actually, I got a pretty nice piece of steak right here.
Yeah,
Dad, look at that. There's some prime A meat there.
Ready. He's ready.
But like I was saying about Black Lives Matter, I was always like that person that I began to realize, in order for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter. Systematic racism has to end. And prejudice on all sides. Refugees' lives have to matter. Native American lives have to matter. And the movement is trying to establish that balance, because in the end, their goal is not to be superior to anybody. They just want to live their lives just like anybody else and be normal. And the fact of the matter is that if they have to walk out their house, there's a real fear that they might not make it back that day. Or there's a chance that they could be, racial profiled for doing nothing. I've seen so many videos online where these dudes were just driving with a kid in the back seat, and they looked at the car, a cop car, and they called it. They're like, "This guy's gonna stop us." And sure enough, the cop stopped them. "Oh, what you got in your car? Where you going?" Like, why should where I'm going be important to you? I'm not doing nothing. So why the hell are you harassing me? Why are you bothering me? I'm not doing nothing. And that's what the Black Lives Matter is about, is to stop those cops from doing that, or preventing murders like Trayvon Martin, preventing murders like Ahmaud Arbery. Well, this guy was just jogging in the street, and he got gunned down for what?
You can't see me right now.
Jogging?
In a more general aspect, they're there to protect Black culture and Black people from getting systematically oppressed and racism and and stuff like that. They want it to be like a fair system for for their people, basically, for blacks in
Fair
general.
system for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody, exactly.
You guys remember the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson? That was like that came out like 2000.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that I was watching this movie the other day, and I don't know if you guys remember that there was a black slave that served in the militia. And in the movie, Mel Gibson's character wasn't really prejudiced against black people. He had black people on his plantation, but they were free workers. So he was portrayed as somebody who was, he wasn't racist towards black people. So there was a soldier in the militia who, was if they served in the army, they were given freedom by the Continental Army. And it was interesting seeing that shit because it's like, dude, they're fighting towards a free world, towards a different world. And there was a real idea of having that freedom there. And it's just so ironic that 200 or 300 years from there, that dream is still not a reality 100% of the way.
I mean, it's very unfortunate.
Has changed many faces.
Yeah.
And even though those slaves were freed, and it's funny how like oppression works, because in that movie there's a white man who was very prejudiced towards the slave, and it took the slave and he would like attack him, chastise him, ridicule him, belittle him, and all this other stuff, and the black slave would just take it in stride like it was no big deal. It wasn't until he saved that white man's life that white man began to understand and change his mindset towards that slave. And then at the end of the movie, when they're about to fight the final battle, this white man looks at this black slave and looks at him, who's now a free man, and goes, "I'm honored to fight alongside you." Honored. Because instead of seeing the skin, he saw the person. And then there was a Black Lives Matter, I think your brother actually, Jason, posted it up. And they went to a Trump rally with a bunch of racists. And they gave the Black Lives Matter head of it a chance to speak. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is communication. It's talking. Because a lot of the times people have been conditioned to only see skin instead of seeing the person.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's why
froze a little bit. I can't. Chris Ryder, you freezing again, man.
Yo, what's up, man? Chris Ryder sounding like T-Pain right now.
Word, right?
But that's the truth, though. And it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever.
We definitely love your insight. You keep on like freezing and coming like choppy on the audio, so you're gonna have to check your Wi-Fi there, brother.
You're gonna have to like do the Nintendo game, just blow it real quick. You know what I'm saying? How you know the game used to freeze and stuff?
All right.
For the cartridge.
But listen, real quick, I just wanted to share something with you guys. We're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and what
your point of view of it.
And they, and what they do to protect black people in general. Let's share this little video that actually I seen the other day from 50 Cent on his IG page. This is gonna shock you guys. Well, it won't shock you, but you know what I mean. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna share this. Let me know if you guys can see this. You guys see that?
Yeah, we see it.
All right, cool. So this is it right here. So let's let me know if you can hear the audio actually.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
You see, but let's show our audience real quick for those who haven't seen it. Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it?
I can't hear it.
No. You want to see the image? All right, great. So let's get the sound going as well, and let's get the sound going as well here. Share sound. There we go. And let's repeat that one more time there for our listeners and audience. How about now? You guys can see it now?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, guys.
Cop, I'd be like, he probably had it fucking coming.
Okay.
Because of motherfuckers like you. Good cops get fucked up raps because of people like you. You came to the car with your gun out. For what? Do you have no conscience? You don't see what the fuck going on TV? But you don't give a fuck, right? Because I just would have been another dead black motherfucker, right? And you just would have went about your business, right? 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 Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. I have no issue if you could just be honest, right? You just would have been like, oh, a mistake happened. Right? You'd have been able to just wake up the next day, not lose a drop of motherfucking sleep. But I'd have had 3 fucking kids. 3 kids with no dad. Dad a criminal? Nope. Dad a thug? Nope. Dad shot dead by a cop, made a mistake. Because you want to come with your gun drawn.
That's insane. Well, that's enough of it right there. It's just insane, man. Like, you know, like, this is the reason why, you know, we have to have organizations like the Black Lives Matter movement to represent people of color, including us Latinos, because we're people of color. If you're not white, you're colored. And we're black as well, because, you know, we're a mixture of different races. But what I meant is, you know, we have to have these organizations available to stand up for us and to fight for our justice and you know, help us out in these situations. Because without these organizations, how are we supposed to fight back without having the proper resources? Because most people don't have the proper resources. You know, like most people live day to day, check to check. You don't have $200,000 to put in a class action lawsuit or just a regular lawsuit against the NYPD or any police force or the government for that matter. So these organizations are built and made for that reason, to protect us and stop the abuse to a certain extent and make a change.
But you know what I like about that video though, and what was very, very important about it was the fact that yes, that cop had a prejudice, that cop had his gun drawn, but he allowed that man to speak his heart and speak his mind. And he realized at that moment that he made a mistake. And you can see it in his face, like, you know what? I'm an asshole. I fucked up. I could have taken this man's life, and he wasn't doing nothing but being who he was.
Well, I mean, I think the cop knew that he was being recorded, though. I mean, just playing.
But you know, you saw, you can't fake that reaction though. Yeah, he was being recorded, but you saw that he probably was. He was like that, and he saw the emotion in that man's face. So he was probably like, you know what, I fucked up. Yeah, I mean, there's some people who, you know, they're not gonna sit there and say, oh well, I'm not wrong no matter what. You know, he saw the real emotion in that man's face, and you know, he was like, "You're right. You're right."
What I'll say this. What I'll say is, you want to chime in on that?
You feel me? Too many cops do that already. Like they could, like even during the stop and frisk movement, before they banned it, like a lot of cops will come up to you with their hand on their gun already, ready to pop you.
Yeah.
You know, and
that happened to me. That happened to me. I had my permit. And it was after hours, but you know, my wife, she was in the car. She had her license, but she was tired. I got stopped a block away from my house, and they pulled up to the car with their fucking holsters.
Put your hands up, you fucking killer!
On their guns, and she got
up
scared.
All those fucking sausages you got in the back of your car.
And it was actually the cop that was on her side that was the asshole, and the cop that was on my side was actually being nice. And I like the way he handled the situation because he came up to me and was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And they actually stopped me because I was kind of blasting music. That's why they stopped me.
Yeah, they stopped because they knew that you was a real meat killer, brother. They saw they didn't have the bloody apron.
I had Nelson in the trunk. That's what it was. But anyways,
you survived,
Wow, bro! Thank God for that weapon.
But you know, she was definitely afraid. She's like, "Why they have their hands in their guns?" You know, but you know, it's like, why though? We're just you know, we was a block away from my house, and they made her scared.
The harsh reality is this, though, man. This has been going on for eons already. It's just that it's being more revealed because, again, technology now it's being more exposed. But it's been going on for eons already. You know what I mean? Since the first enslaved Africans were brought here into this new world. So this is something that we're just being more exposed to, but nothing really has changed though. You know what I'm saying? So again, though, I mean, you know, thank God for technology at least that, you know, we're able to really actually see that, you know, in our face. It's like, you know, what's going on, but it's been going on for centuries and centuries, man. And I mean, one thing I say, I mean, about the Black Lives Matter though, people always make this whole argument, I mean, all lives matter, and trying to make it seem as if they're trying to like just, you know, only concentrate on Black Lives Matter. But it's not like trying to single out, just think about just Black Lives Matter. It's just think about historically, Black lives does not matter since the 1600s when the first African slaves were brought here into the New World, and they were actually, you know, made as property, not even as human beings. You know what I'm saying? So again, people don't understand the history and why people are saying Black Lives Matter. It's not trying to say as if all lives don't matter. No, it's basically all lives did not matter since we was first brought here into the New World. But you gotta know your history to understand that. You know what I'm saying?
And it's only gonna, and only when all lives matter truly, that's when you can sit there and say it.
We all one living, I mean, we all one living organism. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to understand the science of humans, we're all one living organism.
Yeah, we're all humans. We all one.
And then at the end of the day, it don't matter what color you are, what creed, what religion, you still need a basic necessity to survive on this earth. If you don't have clean air, adequate clean water to drink, if you don't have the proper nutrition to eat, you're gonna die. No matter what race, creed, religion you are, we're still human. We still have to abide by the natural laws of this earth, no matter what. But that just goes to science.
In order for all lives to matter, though, Chris, we have to get rid of racism, and we have to make Black life matter an issue, because, you know, Black people of color are the people who've been murdered, killed, and oppressed for years. Until we make that good, we can't make all lives matter good.
What I'll say is this, though.
Until Black lives matter, no other life can matter, because people of color have been the people who have been oppressed and abused and murdered for thousands of years. It has to change, brother. So once that changes, then we can go ahead and make all lives matter. Because I don't care, white privileged people, they're okay. They don't need to make their lives matter right now. They have a lot of money in their bank. They're right. You know, they don't face,
it's been by design though. It's been by design though. Like
they don't face social injustice. They don't face criminal injustice in the criminal justice system. They don't get police brutality. Police does not murder them in broad daylight, recorded on video. So fuck that shit. Let's get Black Lives Matters first, and then all lives matter. All right, and then we could talk about one together. That's my piece. I'm sorry, I got kind of.
That's 1,000%. That's 1,000% facts. But to be on a realistic tip is like, first you have to teach tolerance, though. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, and this is the crazy shit about it. A lot of people, especially in the white culture, if you're not at a certain tax bracket, if you're not, you know, living in a certain neighborhood, if you don't have a certain amount of white friends, they are prejudiced towards you. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
Even from like a wealthier Caucasian person to like a poorer one, they treat them just if they were one of us. You know what I mean? So it's like, where do we go from here? First, we gotta teach tolerance, and then eventually erase racism, because racism is not gonna go nowhere after this movement. That's straight facts.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I would say this though. Even
the first step is tolerance.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Even white poor people get treated better by the cops than Black people. Let's get that right. And Latinos, because I see that shit. These fucking rednecks beating up cops with a gun drawn, and they don't get shot. So let's stop that.
I mean, historically speaking,
all white people are privileged to a certain extent. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, because I got proof.
That is crazy. Well, I mean, kind of piggyback what you were saying though the other day is that I think what has to really change is the economic system. The economic system has to really change though. I mean, you know, that's the only way racism could change, is through classism, because again though, it all stems from with classism. And I mean, the more you think about this though, I mean, honestly, the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, I really applaud it, but I just don't like, one thing I don't really like about it is that how it's funded. It's funded by these multi-billionaires, George Zorro, who's had a lot of history, who actually funded Martin Luther King Jr. You know what I'm saying?
And he's also linked with Antifa and all that.
Oh my God. And that's kind of like, it doesn't make me feel as if it's like really a organic movement where like you still allowing these people still control this movement, which I'd say it's not really our movement. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just feel it's our movement.
What the hell are you talking about right there? What are you talking about? It's like Black Lives Matter has done more for the movement and the fact that we've gotten to where we are right now. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter what they're funded for.
We're discussing
hold on, it doesn't matter what they're funded for.
Okay, Chris Ryder, let me speak.
Moving, I know, but hold on. If they're moving towards equality for Black people, what does it matter? What they're funded from? Now you can go, bro.
The other day, you want us to respond to that?
Oh yeah, no. I completely agree with you that the Black Lives Matter movement has definitely progressed the rights of all colored people. I will not object that at all. But when you look at the people who are funding it, and you look at their background, they're using this for other means. Yeah, we're definitely pushing the whole let's end racism agenda. Let's, we're all equal, but you also have to remember these multi-billionaire trillionaires, they don't think on our level. They don't experience life on our level. You know what I mean? They're above the law. They're above government. So, especially piggybacking off of what John said with George Soros, he does fund Black Lives Matter, but he also funds Antifa.
Yeah.
So
he's fund all that.
Okay, cool. You're gonna fund the protest now, but are you gonna go hit up these professional rioters to go fuck shit up, to make people of color look wrong? Come on, like the one thing I did not like about this protest was the riot. You feel me? Like the rioting, like I understand, all right, you target a Walmart, you target a Target, target these big corporations, fine, tato. But when it starts trickling down to you fucking up your own community, you hurting the people that you work and toil alongside, there's no progression there.
But that, you're right about that.
What people want. You want to bring your people down.
Yeah. Let them speak, please.
And you're right.
Everybody get their own time to talk.
Listen, when there's protest, there's also going to be a small group of people who are rioting and looting. That's just part of the whole process. And I do get it. I mean, where else are they supposed to get money from? I mean, where else are they supposed to get money from? I mean, okay, so George Soros is funding this organization. The Venezuelan president is funding it too. But how else is it supposed to get money? It's supposed to get it where it comes from, and I get it. It might be like
I completely get that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you also have to remember the people that you lay in bed with also represent your image.
You're right.
That's like saying if I was an older gentleman, let's say I was a 50-year-old politician, and I was flying out with Jeffrey Epstein, everybody knows what the fuck I was doing with him.
Yeah.
Straight the fuck up.
You're right.
Straight the fuck up. No bullshit.
But let me tell you something. Sometimes when you're in an organization trying to make an impact and you don't have the economic power to do so. Let me give you a perfect example. In Colombia, Pablo Escobar, the FARC, the guerrilla warfare people, they joined the movement with Pablo Escobar because they needed that financial power that actually impact the government. When they noticed that he was like on some extra like terrorist shit, doing like all the heinous crimes that they weren't really about, they kind of like separated themselves from him. But they had to start somewhere because they needed that financial power to make stuff happen.
I want you guys to agree with you.
They knew.
Agree with you on if you're starting something and there's not such a good entity trying to fund you, fine, take it for the first couple of steps. But come on,
well, Martin King did that. He did that. MLK did that. But go ahead.
After that, you have to figure a way how to
and now
somewhat separate yourself. I don't mean like take away the funding, but you have to make sure that your image outshines the person that's funding.
Yeah, and that's something that they're gonna have.
They're doing an excellent job at because
but that's a means to an end, though. If you want to further your cause, like Nell said, if you get into funding, you're helping me. You helping the cause, whether or not whether or not who it. And first of all, Soros is all it's who can say if it's true or not.
True.
And it's true though. He is true. Like I mean,
But what Soros represents, who knows if that's true or not?
Historically,
that's all speculation.
It's not speculation. If you understand Zorro and understand his background and what he's done,
obviously he's been a target. He's been a target for conspiracy theories for a long time.
Let me say this. I mean, honestly, I want you guys to get your little, you know what I'm saying, get your chime in, honestly, because I want everyone to have the equal talk, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because at the end of the day, we got to make this an equal conversation. So that's why, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad you guys have your input and we allowed ourselves to actually put our input. So let's make, you know what I mean, make sure we keep it equal. So my whole take is this, though. Martin Luther King Jr. was sponsored by George Soros. He was. You know what I'm saying? He had a large movement. However, Martin Luther King understood, you know what? I have to change myself around this image. I cannot put myself in this image no more. So as soon as Martin Luther King started talking about economics and social inequality, guess what happened to him? He got killed. And he understood that. He understood that. Most people that actually try to go for a real cause end up dying, end up getting killed.
Yeah.
And that's just real talk. You think about Malcolm X. He didn't give a fuck about how much he put in his fucking bank account. He didn't give a fuck about that. He was about a real cause, period. You know what I'm saying? But he knew he was going to die. He knew that. He knew it. You know what I'm saying? MLK, he knew that as well. He's going to die eventually. Yeah. But they actually fought for a real cause. You're not going to buy my soul. You're not going to buy my dignity, my integrity. You're not going to buy that. And they understood that.
In order to start the movement, though, he had to lay in bed with the wrong people. And once he got to a certain level, he said, you know what? Let me disassociate myself from this. Just like the FARC did with Pablo Escobar, just like the Black Lives Matter is eventually doing right now. Because why hasn't the billionaires who are black funded them? Why hasn't Oprah funded them? Why hasn't Michael Jordan just started doing that? What happened to black actors, black comedians, black athletes that have altogether?
Well, that's changing though. That's changing.
It's changing now, but this is my whole point. This is my whole point. This is my whole point that it's changing now because now it's becoming a bigger organization. Not everybody wants to look like the good guy and be like, oh, I give him $100 million. So don't tell me nothing about it. But it's changing now. But that's what I'm saying. They had to lay in bed with the wrong people in order to make an impact. Now that they're making an impact and now they're worldwide known, now you have black athletes like Michael Jordan, black billionaires funding them because now they know that this shit is serious. Why did it have to take? Why did it have to take so long for it to happen? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
And you think that doesn't happen without the riots? How many times, Nelson, have you said that sometimes you need violence in order to make a point? Why has this protest and this movement been different than others?
Well, I mean, the other day, you want to chime in on that before I go in?
Actually, on what Chris said, the difference between like this protest and so many that we've seen in the past is two factors, right? First, we had COVID-19, which took a lot of people out of work. So right now, people are money hungry.
Whoa, word. Real talk. That's a great point right there. Yeah.
And then on top of that, most likely all these jobs that were lost and all these small businesses that went out of businesses and even larger businesses that had to close their doors, it's going to take the United States about, 6-7 months after COVID has fully left to recuperate all those jobs. So not only are people thinking, yo, I may not find the job for another year right now.
Yeah.
And then the way the protests are moving is like, you know, fuck it, assemble for protests, yeah, but everybody forgot about the pandemic. And we've seen it with the states that are reopening now, that's getting worse. Yep, so we as a society push back our own schedule, but we needed to do it.
Yeah.
So that the difference between like most protests and this, just going right back to it, is the fact that one, this year's been a shit show, and two, people are under a lot of stress, and now because of the fact that we had a lot of isolation going on,
economic stress. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you nailed it right there. I mean, when you say stress, I'm saying economic stress though. Economic stress as far as like they can't even make ends meet. People are still trying to struggle, and that right there, it has a reaction. It has a reaction automatically. These are people that are frustrated. So that's really coming off.
Most people that were already struggling now with the pandemic, they struggle even more. So when
and adding more power to the few.
When there's protests going on, they're gonna go out there. They're gonna try to get theirs, man. They gotta secure their next 6 to 3 months that they're gonna survive on.
And that made people take it seriously because, dude, if you walk downtown, it was like it was a different type of fucking level.
Forget about downtown. Just look at Fordham Road. The whole Fordham Road was
but even it was just a different. It was that energy that was outside was different, and it was like a real concern because my job was shutting down 6 o'clock. Out, everybody gone.
Yeah, because nobody want to get caught up in that shit. Bro,
it was a real
people
thing.
In those riots is either strapped up, got something. You don't know. You run into a wrong group of people. You could end up in the hospital, lose your life.
Well, trust.
Because you're
Chris Ryder would have been okay the other day. He would have been okay. They would have ended up in the hospital versus him. This guy walks around with machetes in his fucking waistband.
We got many machetes. I gotta show you that shit. I gotta take a picture. I'll big them shit.
See, he does. Look how happy he gets when he talks about knives and machetes and shit.
Nah,
they would have been in trouble with him, trust.
I'm Dominican, bro.
You know about that shit, man. You fucking got them shits in your crib in DR.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
But listen, guys.
I used to.
Yeah, but go ahead, no, go ahead.
Let's go on a little bit short break because we definitely have our guest today, but he's also a DJ and a EDM producer. We want to get people to listen to his music real quick for another 10 minutes while we go on break. All right. So the other day, man, let me know when you're ready. We're gonna let you go on your little turntable spin situation there.
Well, man, I'm gonna do a little Latin house and some Brazilian bass.
I bet. So we're gonna let you do your thing, and we're gonna be right back. You heard, guys?
What's the problem, man?
Yo, the other day, put your phone closer to your speaker. Yo. Yo, hey. We got the other day in the house, EDM producer. Yo, the other day, real quick. You can see me, you can hear me. Turn around, brother. You can't hear me though. But the sounds ain't coming in too correctly, so we're gonna try to get his attention. We got the other day in the building, EDM producer. The other day, what's going on, baby? Representing Uptown Dykeman, you heard? The other day in the building, you already know what it is, baby boy. Yeah, you already know, man. You already know. You already know, DJ. The other day in the building. Yo, the other day, real quick. You can't hear me, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the zone. So we're not getting a good sound out of his DJ mix there. So we're going to try to cut it short real quick. Actually play some of his music off of the library that we have on over here real quick. Bear with us. We're trying to get this started here. Yo, Tavar, his music wasn't really coming as clean as we thought it would. He had his phone too far away from his speaker there. But I just muted him right now. Thank God you came back because I was trying to get Chris Ryder or one of you guys to come back so that we could mute him until he's ready to come back.
Give me a minute real quick.
The sound is not coming out good. But yeah, so we're back again. Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast. Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast. That was the other day. EDM producer, DJ in the house straight out of Uptown. You already know what it is. Okay, let's see. Let's get everybody. What's that little music in the background? Who's playing that little?
That's me. Hold on. Sorry.
All right, yo. Hey, the other day. That was the other day. Straight out of Uptown, Dykeman, EDM producer. Real quick. I was trying to get your attention. I even text you. We weren't getting the sound coming through right. Because maybe you had the phones too far away from the speakers, or the speakers were too low. I'm not sure. So for the ending of the show, just bring the phone a little bit closer by your laptop, maybe, so you could pick up the sound crisp.
I got you, bro.
It sounded like it was far away, like an echoes and stuff. All right, buddy?
I got you.
But I could definitely hear some of the great tunes that you were kicking. I was trying to get your attention, man. I couldn't get you.
Yo, bro, my bad. I was in the zone. I was vibing.
Nah, it's what's up,
I like that.
I get it.
I like that Spanish and EDM mix. That's always like that always pops off.
Fire, bro.
Yeah.
Like I went to
that mix is always fire.
I went to Izu last year, and I don't know if you know about GTA. They're a DJ group. They're a DJ producer group. Yo, they're I think they're Colombian. Yo, fire Latin house music, bro. Fire.
Word. That's what's up, though, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Listen, man, you definitely kicked it right there. Even though we couldn't get a crisp sound, but we heard a little bit of it. We definitely know your craft is up there. Just give the listeners and the audience a real quick background of where they can find you social media wise, what you're currently working on, and how you got started.
Well, you can find me on all streaming platforms, so iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, Desert. You can Shazam me, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Shazam you. Shoot, are you doing those numbers right now, baby? It's a Shazam me. That's what's up, though, man.
You can Shazam me. I'm also on iHeartRadio and Pandora. So if you're ever on that, definitely check me out.
Salute to you,
the way
brother.
I really got started was I wanted to be a rapper back in the day, and then I quit music. And then my best friend Alexito, you already know, he took me to my first rave, and I was like, yo, I gotta do this. So that was like me quitting music, and then it bring me right back to it.
Oh, nice. So
yeah, man. And right now, I currently got my hit single with one of my best friends out, Charlie Charles. Don't Need. You definitely go stream that. Go check that out. Besides that, I got a new single coming out probably at the end of July. But before that, I'm dropping a 6-track EP of all remixes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so there you go, man. The other day, man, doing the EDM scene hard, bro.
Hell yeah, we're taking over, baby. We bring this shit back to the East Coast.
Yeah, right. Because the West Coast got a strong hold on that right now. You know what I'm saying? I think your mic is muted, brother. You got to unmute it real quick.
I don't know. Somebody keeps muted.
How about JT? JT, you back on, baby boy. But yeah, man. So that was great, man. We definitely gonna hopefully our listeners can chime in and listen to your awesome mixes. You already know we can catch them on Instagram _ the other day, SoundCloud, Pandora, Shazam him. You want to Google him anywhere you want to find him on the music platform. He's available. The other day,
I don't got to do Wikipedia because they could bootleg that shit.
Well, it depends. Some Wikipedias are locked though. Some of them are locked. Can't change them.
Oh, you can lock
the real ones, yeah. The authentic ones,
like
yeah.
An open forum that anybody could put any bullshit.
No. The real, the real Wikipedia articles that people actually pay for, those are locked. So if you're a celebrity, you have a publicist who wants to write your bio. Once that's locked, it's locked. They can include things, as you go, but nobody can go on there mess with it. Nobody can tamper with it.
Edit it.
Yeah.
Shit. See, I learned something new every day.
So Wikipedia is a legitimate source of information. You just gotta know which articles are locked and unlocked. The unlocked ones, anybody can really play around with it. But the locked ones are the authentic ones that actually were written by by the Wikipedia sources and the publicists of that famous person or whatever, or family members. But yeah, then at the Roundtable Podcast, we're back with Black Lives Matter. We gave a little bit of insight on what Black Lives Matter, the organization, means, what they stand for, and who they're in bed with. But at the end of the day, their movement stands for what it stands for. It stands for protecting the lives of Black people, because for centuries they've been abused and oppressed and systematically, used so that other people can make their wealth and riches off of them, right? Through slavery. So, guys, we're back at it again. Welcome back.
Well, I mean,
okay. No, I'm saying, I think that we a lot of this has to do with slavery, and I think that we should definitely have a big episode where we focus on that, so that way people can actually see the history behind it, and see why things are the way that they are.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be a series of episodes though, because there's so much to be said about that.
Yeah, so many.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, just kind of like, going back to the whole movement though, again though, like I just want people to really be informed. I mean, it has to be a socioeconomic a system where it has to really change though. It has to evolve though, because again though, this is why so many Black families are fighting for reparations. You know what I'm saying? Because again though, Black family has been economically robbed for centuries and centuries of centuries, where there's no way they could compete with other ethnic groups. You know what I'm saying? And again though, this is why I'm so big on the economy, man. I'm so big on it because it all stems with economics, man. This is why, if you guys are familiar with Rob Johnson, who's the first Black billionaire, he once owned BET. He sold it to Viacom, but he was actually trying to propose.
Bob Johnson, you mean?
Yeah, Robert Johnson. Yeah, Robert Johnson. So he was the like he's a billionaire. He's the first Black billionaire. But it's just like, it's true though what he's saying though. Like it has to be a redistribution of wealth when it comes to Black family, because there's no way we're able to really eliminate racism, where like the distribution of wealth and the way classism is set up since slavery, is no way this ever going to end. There's no way. So it has to be an economic evolution. You know what I'm saying? I'm always keep saying that. It has to be economic evolution. Has to be. That's the only way we're going to see true social change, by seeing the evolution with economics. You know what I mean? That's my take on it.
How would you say, like, how to change it though? Would it be like
wealth,
like as in every Black family gets a check, or
you start
their communities?
Well, you start by supporting, and keeping that money within the communities. That's how you start it. And you continue to distribute that wealth, because a lot of the ways that these powerful families keep their money is that they keep it within the families, and they pass it down from generation to generation. And you're seeing that now with a lot of Black billionaires, a lot of Black millionaires coming into it. You're seeing more and more and more of that now.
Yeah, Chris, try it real quick. We're gonna share that a reparations bill that Bob Johnson was trying to push. See if you guys can see it there real quick.
Yeah, we can see it.
Give me a second now. Is it coming up? Do you guys see it right there? Is it clear?
Yeah.
So it's a 300.
You gotta zoom out of it a little bit.
I'll say it again.
Zoom out a little bit so you can see everything.
Oh, okay, I see. So
move it up a little.
I got you right now. Wait, give me a second. Let's stop sharing this real quick, and I'm gonna because this Zoom is very like tedious with their sharing, and they have different sharing options. But let's do it like this real quick. Basic. Let's do the basic version. Okay. Come on, Mr. Laptop. What's going on here? Here we go. All right. So here we go. Okay. Can we see it now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. So it's a reparations for slavery. This is Robert Johnson, Bob Johnson, the BET co-founder. His proposal: $350,767 one-time cash payment. Over 42 million African Americans eligible are descendants and of the slavery movement. Calculation is based on income indication, savings, and home ownership. 14.7 trillion price tag. So that basically is like the it's more, obviously it's more detailed than that, but this is like the brief summary of it that Bob Johnson actually like proposed. So that's what John Tavar was talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem I have with that is that, let's say that reparation does happen. Though black people, what they need to do is they need to keep that going and not spend it on stupidity.
Yeah, that's
invest in businesses, invest in things that'll make them even more money. If I got that $350,000 payment, I would reinvest that into the housing market. But that's the quickest way to become very rich is invest in houses. Buy a house for $80,000, pour $100,000 into it, sell that house for $400,000. You just made a profit off that. Take that money, invest it in businesses, and then you work your way up to becoming a millionaire. My problem is that are they going to spend it on freaking stupid cars and jewelry and not thinking about the future?
There might be some people that might do that. Some people might not. But unfortunately, the reason why it's such high number is because when they were promised 40 acres and a mule, they never got that. They never got that, and then they got red zoned. They got red zoned where they couldn't even take out loans from banks, and you know what I mean. So red zoning,
all that's been
right?
designed. Like,
so, if the United States government and whoever else wants to complain about it, guess what? The reason why it's so much money is because that took a long time to give it to them, buddy. If I would have given it to them back then, it wouldn't have been as much as it is now. So,
but it goes with understanding the history, though, man.
Yeah,
people got to really go back into history and know why things are the way they are today. Like, it's just no coincidence, man. You got to be like, I don't want to insult people's intelligence, though, but I mean, you really got to be like dishonest with your intellectual, where you act as if this just happened the way it is. This has been designed. It's been designed since centuries ago. So there's no coincidence of why things are the way they are today. You know what I mean? And again, though, like, this is why so many people are fighting for this redistribution of wealth. It's just it's mathematically impossible, man, to compete. You know what I'm saying? With people that had such a head start with you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so for about people understanding, like, yo, this system is not designed for all of us to be successful. It's mathematically impossible. It's impossible.
Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? It was made like that from the very beginning. And to tell you the truth, the money's out there. All that bullshit about the economy's going to suffer and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? We run the economy. The United States is the world currency, and we could print as many dollars as we want. And all that shit is bullshit because money is digital now. And a banker could just go to his desk and put in whatever money he wants into your account with no repercussions. With no repercussions. I don't want to hear it. All the economy's going to go down. No, how about all these?
You ever notice?
How about all these businesses? Fucking all these businesses right now doing this, doing the quarantine, benefiting, getting over $100 million to
the wealthy are getting wealthier, man.
Exactly.
Look it up.
So don't talk to me about the economy. Don't talk to me about the economy when we talk about reparations, because you guys are bailing out these multi-billion dollar companies like it's just right there, like it's in the pocket. You got to be kidding me. Like, they got that shit in the piggy bank at home. If you got money to bail out these billion-dollar companies, you got money to pay black people what they deserve. Come on, man. Don't talk to me about that bullshit. And if I want to buy five Rolls Royces, 5 Rolexes, and a jet with that money I get, fuck it, I'll buy it. It's my money. They owe it to me, right? Come on, man.
Oh, man.
But but you got to understand something. The reason why it's such a fallback is that it affects the bottom line. That's the problem. There's no benefit to that. It affects the bottom line, and then
was there any benefit? So there was a benefit of white people getting rich off of slavery, right?
It is. No, but you gotta understand, and this is
it's
what
a for attack, baby.
no, but this is what they this is their mentality of it. This is the mentality of it.
That's gonna be their
it affects the bottom line. That's it, and that's what I'm saying though. You know, it's like if you look at a company, right? A company will invest $100 million on building up new stores, right? It doesn't affect the bottom line. Their payrolls are $1 million a year. They want to cut hours based on that because they want to get that million down to $800,000. So how is that affecting your $100 million that you're spending on opening new stores? How is that affecting?
Well, I'll say
because
this,
it affects the bottom line, and that's how they're thinking about it.
The bottom line is just bullshit. The bottom line is just a rich motherfucker complaining about he lost $1 or $2. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear.
But let me.
I don't want to hear about no bottom line.
Let me jump in this though, man, because
I've seen the numbers. I know about this.
Hold up, I won't play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
All right. So let's say that those checks are sent out, right? Everybody, black folk get their money. What's gonna stop Mexicans from saying, "Yo, we want California and Texas back," or you gotta pay us?
Hit it.
Or the Native Americans saying, "Yo,
it can be like a domino effect." I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You killed our ancestors and took us out of our homes. So where's our check?
Well,
the Latinos that were also considered Native Americans and slaves. Where's our check?
Yeah,
the Asians who were technically not slaves, but when they built that railroad, they were treated as slaves. Where's they check?
No. I mean, I can definitely.
Like, I believe that they should be compensated, but it's like to give everybody a check, you're gonna start a fucking whirlwind of problems because now you're basically paying for all your sins, and all your sins will be paid for.
And I get it. I mean, I don't. As you're saying that, I'm just really like I'm thinking out loud right now. But I mean, this is why it has to be a economic change as a whole, though, not just for a particular group, though. It has to be economic change as a whole. But I'm going back what Anil was saying. I want to make sure I don't forget that. The way the economic system works, though, is about consumption. If people don't have buying power to buy things, then the economy will collapse. So they depend on us, minorities, to have money so we can spend. That's how they make money. Yeah. That's how they keep the cycle going. And that's how they keep the circulation going. But if we're deprived, if we economically deprived and don't have income, how the economic system is going to keep running? It's impossible.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So this is what people gotta understand. Understand how economics work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which the majority of people don't understand that.
Yes, and they give that money out, the reparations. What's gonna happen? That same money is gonna come back into the economy. We're gonna waste it, right? Exactly.
That's how it works, though.
Nothing's gonna be lost. So what's the big deal?
Capitalism is
about the power they're losing.
Give us the money.
The power.
Yes, that's what they worry about because they're greedy power fuckers. But what I'm saying, that money, where is it going to be distributed at? Where is it going to go back into? To our own American economy. So what's the big deal? Just give it out, bro.
And that's the thing, though. It's like they're afraid of that. They want to keep all the money to themselves, and they don't realize that
the economy's going to collapse. So if they keep the money to themselves,
but that's what I'm saying, though. It's a benefit for them. But if you could cut the as much as you can, and if you got $100 and you giving somebody $10 out of that 100 and you keep 90, they're gonna want 91. They're gonna want 92. They're gonna want 93.
When you understand economics,
they wanted to chime in real quick before we go to the next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I lost.
I completely forgot my thing.
But I mean, once that comes back,
go ahead.
He got it back. He got it back.
Yeah, we even smoked that butter yet, brother.
All right, but do you think, like, when it comes to like our economy, it also has to do for the fact that most minorities aren't teach like financial responsibility and stuff of that nature?
Absolutely.
Because
1,000%.
Like people of color are more prone to being in debt than people who actually have a financial background or has been raised with money.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Oh, wow.
Exactly. That's the reason why more people of color and Latinos and whatever else that is not white are usually in debt because they're not starting off for nothing. Most white people have a little college fund already set up for them where they don't have to worry about struggling and doing a shit. You know what I'm saying? Because their families have the wealth, or not even the wealth, just have they get by better, and they have enough money saved up to pass it down to their kids. Because they got passed down by their parents, and their parents gave it to their parents.
There you go.
And it keeps on going. Their grandparents, their great grandparents built that wealth off
it's inherited.
Free labor.
I mean,
labor.
That's
free labor.
That's, I would have to disagree with you, respectfully disagree with you on that. No, simply because I work
there.
No, it's not. I'm saying, but from my experience,
most white people are in a good position.
Wait, hold on.
Not
I know
all of them, but most
they
of
are.
them.
But I work with a bunch of white people who struggled just as much as I did, and they ain't have a fucking inheritance. They didn't have. They struggled just as much as I did. I'm not saying that, mostly yes.
You're gonna find poor white people, Chris.
But I'm saying
obvious.
though,
most white people, the majority of them, on a racial scale.
I mean, I don't know, man.
On a racial scale,
I gotta have my boy come on here.
No, bro,
Chris.
You for a long time you didn't even believe in white privilege, so you started seeing
I never said that. I never said that. That never came out of my mouth, bro.
You were in denial a little bit.
That never came out of my mouth,
What I'm saying is, yes, you were.
That never came out of my mouth.
You were in denial a little bit until you saw it.
That never came out of my mouth,
What I'm saying is this.
That was somebody else. You're confusing me with somebody else, bro. That never came out of my mouth, bro.
You were a little bit in denial.
And I want you to. No, I never did. I never did. That never came out of my mouth.
Not every white person. Obviously there are poor white people. What I'm saying. They're more in population, so their racial numbers are going to be a little bit.
Yeah, you can't compare. You can't compare the stats.
It's just can't compare the stats.
I'm not comparing the stats. I'm not comparing the stats.
Look, what I say is the majority of white people, meaning more than 50%, are set up.
Way more than 50%.
Way than 50%. At least 70%. At least 70% of white people are set up to be successful in life. Whatever they do with the money that is passed down to them, that's on them. But they are set up, bro. They are set up.
Historically speaking,
I thought that same way until I actually worked.
Because you met the 30% is not.
Yeah, because the thing is that you just going by based on your experience.
I'm
However,
not going.
You just said it right now.
What am I going to base on though? What am I going to base on? I've seen it through my eyes.
Look at history.
There you go.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that it's not true. What I'm saying is that they struggle just as much as we do.
And we agree with you. We're not saying none of that. What we're saying
is we're not
on a percentage scale, white people in general have a better way to make it than we do.
A way better
scale. Way.
Let's just
and I really don't understand where you get that. I think that white privilege never existed. I don't know.
One time we had to school you on it, but it's all right.
Yeah, there was an episode.
There was one time. I never said that, bro. You find that episode. You find that episode and you show me the audio, and then
I'll work too a couple of times.
But I never said that.
It works for me, and
you think you confusing? You confusing me from somebody else, bro. I never said that shit.
All right, cool.
That never happened, bro.
So
and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna deny that shit because that never happened, bro.
So we just make.
But I've seen it. I've seen it from my own eyes, bro. I've seen it. I fucking went through it. White privilege. And being fucking denied because I was always skilled better than somebody else, but because I was Puerto Rican and Latino, I got shitted on as much as anybody else. So I will never ever sit here and say that white privilege doesn't exist.
But you were defending the fact that you know a few white people who are not privileged according to you, and that's what you said.
But that's different. That's different than saying that's.
But only because you had that one guy that you encountered at work. I think
that white privilege doesn't exist. That's a completely different conversation.
But you were hinting towards that, bro. I guarantee
you.
But that doesn't mean that's what I meant to say, though. Come on. Dude, are you kidding me? So I say that white people struggle as much as we do sometimes. That white privilege don't exist. Come on.
Like that's the character right behind you right now.
That's completely different, bro. That's completely different.
Chris,
and I'm going to sit here and deny it as much as I can. And none of you guys are going to say to sit there because I've dealt with it. Right. I've been shitted on in my entire career as a butcher when I'm better than most other people because I was Spanish. And why? Because somebody else was white. They thought that they were better than me. Come on, man. Like that shit pisses me off. And I'm gonna sit here and say
the same thing you go through. Then they don't have to go through that whole.
But they struggle. But they struggle too. That's my point. It doesn't mean that white privilege doesn't exist. I never said that.
There is white poor people that do struggle.
White people that struggle and that are, you know, poor.
That's my point. Like, so how is that saying that white privilege? That I'm saying that white privilege doesn't exist. That shit never came out of my mouth, bro.
All right, so let's calm down. You say it didn't come out of your mouth. We're gonna find
that never came out of my mouth, bro. And I tell you, find the audio, Nelson. You've listened to every single episode. Find the audio.
Yes.
Find the audio and prove it to me.
I promise.
And I guarantee you, it's not.
But a knife in your pocket that I will find it right.
Never said that, bro. Never said that. That shit never came out of my mouth.
But guess what? Right now, you're the best butcher in Lower Manhattan, so
I'm not saying I am. I'm not the best butcher. I'm not the best butcher.
Got over that white privilege. Never. Don't worry about it. So
but I've gotten shitted on and disrespected because of being Spanish. And that's just true story, bro.
Okay,
that's straight facts. That's straight facts.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, calm down. Drink that little bit of water there, buddy. Anyway. Listen, man.
Nah, man. I'm not gonna sit here because I'm smarter than that. You guys should know that.
We're not.
You guys should know that I'm smarter
we're not
than
trying
that,
to attack
you.
you.
Never say that.
Anyway, let's just go back to the main topic. Black Lives Matter. And basically, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. 2020 is that year where everything is being exposed because of clear vision. We had our guest today, the other day, come on. Let's give our final thoughts and let's get back on to the world that we live in.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to start it off then? Let's just make sure that we all, you know.
Let's let Chris start off since he's so emotional.
Yeah, he is.
Better right now.
Listen, man.
You like the character right behind you, bro, right now. Fierce.
I've just been in the mode. Been in a mode where I'm not gonna sit here and be a nice guy no more. I'm just not. Yeah. I'm just in the mode where it's just like I'm just gonna speak my mind, and if people don't like it, that's on them.
That's
and they
the point of the podcast, brother.
Guys.
And I've been very timid. But I'm gonna speak my mind. So if you guys, I love you guys, you're my brothers. But if I feel like you guys are speaking some blasphemous that I don't agree on, I'm gonna speak my mind and speak my piece.
But you have done that already. You've done that plenty of times.
And you guys should check me on my if you don't agree with what I'm saying too. At the end of the day,
I mean, this is all about dialogue. If we're gonna share opinions.
At the end of the day,
we're gonna say, and if you think that something doesn't fit you, then you can say your piece.
Exactly.
That's it. You keep it moving. It's all about information, guys. You know what I'm saying? All about information.
At the end of the day,
your final thought, brother. Is that your final thought?
It's all about positivity.
No.
It's all about positivity, and it's all about knowledge, and it's all about knowing your history. Jay is right about economics. We don't know about economics. We don't know about the power of money. And until we do understand that, we're going to continue to be in the same cycle. Now, the Black Lives Matter movement has finally begun to bear fruition and bear fruit because look at what's happening. Companies are starting to donate, are starting to stand behind it. You know, NFL, who blackballed Colin Kaepernick for kneeling on the. But the thing with Kaepernick is crazy because, number one, they didn't want to deal with the media circus that came with it. They didn't want to deal with the distractions. A lot of these organizations just wanted to play football. And with Colin Kaepernick, they was going to bring that distraction. He wasn't blackballed because of his skill set. He was blackballed because of the media. A lot of people don't understand that. But Black Lives Matter has finally begun to bear fruit. If you don't think it's the truth, look at New York State's repeal of the 50A law. Look at how Governor Cuomo is holding these police departments accountable for the racist shit that they've been doing. If you notice, every single last thing for the last month, any kind of racist shit a cop has done, they've either gotten fired, suspended, or some kind of reprimand. And it's because the people are finally being heard, and that's because Black Lives Matter has been the focal point of a lot of things. You know, whether they've been financed from whoever it was, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a means to an end. And once you get to that certain point where you don't need these entities anymore, you can begin to distance yourself. So now Black Lives Matter, once police brutality has been put to an end, which I feel like is starting to get there, they have to start focusing on the community and bettering their community and building it up from there. Because if we cannot sit at the table with an equal footing, we're not going to be listened to. And it starts by economics, informing ourselves through history, and making sure that when we come at this table, we know what the hell we're talking about. Because nobody holds the power of the dollar like we do. And until we start taking hold of that dollar, the steps are going to be slow. Money is power. It talks on many different levels. And money don't care whether you black, white, Spanish, or anything of the sort. You come with money, things will change. That's just the way it is. That's just the way the world works.
Okay. All right. So Chris Ryder.
So economics is the focal point. And for me, and for Jay, for Nelson, for all of us, it starts with teaching our children the power of the dollar. My son is gonna have the power of it. And he's gonna know that, you know what, it's very important to have money in that bank account and to continue to improve it. Keep that wealth within each other. And that's it.
All righty. Thanks, man. Good final thought there for Chris Ryder. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to let John Tavar go. Then we're going to let our guest finish off so that he can continue right into his music. But basically, my final thought is that, and it evolves around the topic, is Black Lives Matter. Until Black Lives matters 100%, all lives can't matter. Because at the end of the day, most people are colored and there's only a few that are white in the world. You know what I mean? And we have to understand the history, and we have to understand that when a group of people have been oppressed and enslaved and basically stripped out of their privileges to be all they can be, to have what the pursuit of happiness is, what the American dream is, because that's what the American dream is. Everybody's entitled to the pursuit of happiness. We can't go forward until that is taken care of. So Black Lives Matter, I understand what you guys are about. The organization, I love it. And until Black Lives Matter, other lives can't matter. That's my final thought.
I just want to say something real quick before JT goes. Think about the statistics of interracial breeding and the fact that white people are in the red and they're losing a lot of their superiority because of so much of the mixing between races now. A lot of people are starting to become mixed, and their birth rates are in the red. And if you know about what the red means, it means that they ain't reproducing like they're supposed to be. They're losing a lot of that.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, JT, man.
Well, I mean, my final thought is pretty much this, though. Again, I'm going to keep saying there has to be an economic evolution. For those who follow me on IG, I posted a video of someone that I actually just came across online, and he said something that it really hit me. And I mean, I've been thinking about it, but he explained it where he said, just basically just to kind of put it in a nutshell, there is no system, there's no entity that is 100% Black owned and run by Blacks. So no matter what do we really run? And that's a very great question. Do we really control ourselves? And that's why I'm so big on really changing the whole economic system itself. We have to find a whole different economic system that is going to benefit everybody, not just a particular group that has been designed already since it's basically, been brought to the new world, capitalism, that we already know it's been designed already where, people are going to always benefit off the ancestors, those who are actually very fortunate to have families that came from that, you know what I'm saying, where they don't have to go through the economic struggle. So we have to change the economic system itself, though, because we got to think about it. Do we really own anything? Or it's really 100% owned by any of us? And the answer is really no. And I mean, because if you understand how money works, the currency, money comes from a private bank, the Federal Reserve, that can print as much money as they can, but it's still run by them. They are a private company. They are a private entity that has no overseer.
By private owners.
Yeah, private owners. So these are
and every president who's tried to do it has been assassinated.
Oh yeah, JFK, for instance, definitely. So this is something that I definitely want to just keep emphasizing, though, man. We have to have an economic evolution, not just a revolution, but an evolution. And we got to just be more and more in tune, be more aware, and raise our level of consciousness, and really trying to make a social change. And like our guest Tank said last week, I mean, you got to look at the man in the mirror, and you got to start within yourself, though, in order to make that change. So, you know, I believe it like that, though. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Nice, man. Good final thought by John Tavar right there. The other day, our guest, your turn, buddy. What's going on?
So basically, my opinion on Black Lives Matter movement is that they're doing a great job progressing people of color and getting us to an equal footing as a whole, as a country. Now, when we're moving away from that, what we need more is more education, a new economical system, like Chris and John were saying, and tolerance, straight up. Because without knowledge and without tolerance, we're only doomed to repeat history. And that's the fucking suck shit about it. When ignorance is kicked in, we're due to repeat our same mistakes. And that's what we don't want. We want progression. So it's like, have more diversity in school when we're learning about history. You know, dive deep into, it doesn't have to be Black history. Black history should be Americans. So we should be learning about that year round. Another thing, we should, as children of immigrants and of children of people of poverty, we should also be taught financials. We should be taught economics from a young age, so we know what to do by the time we hit 18. You know, a lot of kids that are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 don't figure out the economic system until they're 30.
Mm-hmm.
And they think buying a fresh pair of J's, having Balenciagas on, having a chain, having jewelry, it makes you a baller. It doesn't. When you own land, when you have real estate, when you have a business, when you have liquid assets that you could do things. If like me and John wanted to go start up a business and we had the economic background, we'll go do it. But we weren't taught that.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need now is for the educational system, one, to reform their history lessons and to implement economics into the system. So that way, the future generations could, one, if let's say that a school is predominantly white or predominantly Black or predominantly Latino, we have an understanding of other races and what they want to hear. So now we're building a tolerance for it. You feel me? And that's step one to getting rid of racism. And that's what we can hope for now until we can actually accomplish full extinction of racism. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And you know how that starts, my brother? You know how that starts?
By
teaching the children.
Of course.
Teaching the children.
Teaching the children, future generations.
We can only teach our kids so much. The schools have to get involved as well.
Yes, you're right. Because they spend half of the day at school.
It doesn't feel right that they don't teach Latin history at all, and they don't teach American history at all. And those are two other major groups in American history.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like we should be learning about exactly what happened, not just white history and partially Black history. We should be learning about American history from all groups.
Yeah, we should be learning about world history, period. Everything. Not like selected sections that they want us to learn about. But yeah, man, Dinner at the Round Table podcast, but that was the final thought to everybody on. Chris Ryder, John Tavar, Lily Nell, Dinner at the Round Table podcast with our special guest the other day, EDM producer and DJ, man. We're going to end it up with him doing another run around on the spinning with his EDM tracks. You already know, man. Just make sure you got your mobile device there a little bit closer to your speakers there the other day, so we could get a little bit.
Hold on. I'm about to throw a mic on my phone. Let me know if y'all can hear me better. I'm not gonna be able to hear you though.
All right, but wait, will you make sure that you come back and check with us that we can hear you good before?
I know. I'm not gonna play music. I'm gonna ask you for the thumbs up right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yo, y'all hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
A lot better.
Play a little snippet or something real quick. Just a little snippet. Real quick. Just a real quick snippet.
All right, but hold on.
All right. Today was a great dialogue, guys. Oh yeah, way better. right, then at the Roundtable Podcast, we out of here, man. See you guys next week.
I grew up feeling lonely, even when I was lonely. It's just now and now.
Well, sorry, just quickly. What it is?